LGBTQ+ stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer. It's an umbrella term for people with diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. Sexual orientation refers to who you're attracted to, while gender identity is your internal sense of being male, female, or something else.
What is your gender? My gender. I'm a mechanic.
The world has come a long way in terms of LGBTQ+ rights. Many countries have legalized same-sex marriage and offer legal protections against discrimination. However, there's still a significant global divide. Over 70 countries have laws criminalizing same-sex relationships, and some even impose harsh punishments, including imprisonment and the death penalty. In Ghana, gay sex is illegal and carries a 3-year prison sentence. Ghana's current law criminalizes same-sex sexual activity between men under the Criminal Code of 1960. This law is a legacy of Ghana's colonial past, as it was imposed by British colonizers who had similar laws in place. But the law doesn't stop there, because in February 2024, Ghana's lawmakers unanimously passed a bill that severely restricted LGBTQ rights. The bill, called the Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, has been criticized by human rights groups. The bill increases prison sentences for same-sex sexual activity from a maximum of 3 years. It also criminalizes the promotion, sponsorship, and support of LGBTQ activities with a prison sentence of up to 5 years. In Uganda, the anti-LGBTQ law, formerly called the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2023, is a harsh and controversial piece of legislation. The law criminalizes consensual same-sex acts with a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. The law introduces the concept of aggravated homosexuality, which carries the death penalty. This includes acts involving minors, disabled people, or people over 75 years old, as well as repeat offenders and those where one partner is HIV positive. The law also criminalizes the promotion of homosexuality, which can be interpreted very broadly. This includes advocating for LGBTQ+ rights or even providing financial support to LGBTQ+ organizations. The penalty for this can be up to 20 years in prison. The law was passed in March 2023 and signed by President Museveni in May 2023. It faced international condemnation from human rights groups and Western nations. Sadly, Ghana and Uganda are not the only countries in Africa that criminalize the LGBTQ community. Here are some other African countries with similar laws. What's the reason why these African countries do not support the LGBTQ community? Well, there are several reasons why some African countries don't support the LGBTQ community. These reasons include the legacy of colonialism. Colonialism played a significant role in shaping the legal and social landscape for LGBTQ+ rights in Africa. Many African countries have laws criminalizing same-sex relationships that date back to the colonial era. These laws were implemented by European colonizers who viewed homosexuality as immoral. These laws remained in place even after many African countries gained independence. The influence of religion. The influence of religion is a major factor shaping attitudes towards LGBTQ+ rights in Africa. Both Christianity and Islam, the dominant religions in Africa, have interpretations of scripture that condemn homosexuality. This has led many Africans to believe that homosexuality is a sin. This shapes the moral compass of many Africans and informs their views on LGBTQ's identities. Additionally, the growth of evangelical Protestantism in Africa has amplified more conservative views on sexuality. These movements often preach against homosexuality, influencing social and political discourse. Social conservatism. Social conservatism plays a part in the lack of LGBTQ+ rights in Africa. Many African societies are conservative and place a high value on traditional family structures built on marriage and child rearing. Homosexuality is seen as a threat to these traditional values. Just a reminder that these countries in Africa are not the only ones that do not support the LGBTQ. Arab countries, for example, also criminalize same-sex relationships. Here are some Arab countries where same-sex relationships are criminalized. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia operates under a strict interpretation of Islamic law known as Sharia. Sharia doesn't explicitly mention homosexuality, but its principles inform legal rulings. Same-sex relations are considered illegal and indecent acts. Punishments can vary depending on the severity of the case, but can include flogging, imprisonment, or even the death penalty. The death penalty is typically reserved for cases involving adultery or forced sex. Homosexuality is widely taboo in Saudi Arabia. Conservative social norms and a culture of silence can make it difficult for LGBTQ+ people to live openly. Iran. Iran's legal system is also based on Sharia law, with interpretations that consider homosexuality a criminal offense. The specific punishments for same-sex relations vary depending on gender and perceived actions. For men, engaging in sexual acts can lead to execution, especially for those deemed to be in a dominant role. Lesbian relations are generally punished less severely, but can still result in imprisonment. Here are some other Arab countries with similar law. Fortunately, there's a growing movement towards LGBTQ+ equality around the world. An increasing number of countries have legalized same-sex relationships and enacted anti-discrimination laws. Many countries also offer legal recognition for same-sex couples through civil unions or marriage. Countries like the USA generally support LGBTQ rights. Many U.S. states and localities have laws that protect LGBTQ people from discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations. The U.S. Supreme Court legalized same-sex marriage nationwide in 2015. This means all states are required to recognize and license same-sex marriages. Same-sex couples who are legally married are entitled to the same federal benefits as opposite-sex couples, including Social Security benefits, tax breaks, and immigration rights. While no African nation offers full legal and social equality for LGBTQ individuals, some countries have shown progress toward greater acceptance. Countries like South Africa stand out for their progressive stance. In 2006, South Africa became the first African country and fifth in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. This landmark decision guarantees marriage equality for LGBTQ couples. The situation for LGBTQ+ people in African countries is complex and constantly evolving. Understanding the reasons behind the criminalization of LGBTQ+ relationships and its impact is crucial. By promoting awareness and supporting organizations working for change, we can advocate for a more inclusive future for all. For more amazing content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Until next time, let's be the change we wish to see in the world.